Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spread Zone presented by FanDuel. My name is Riz. As always with me, the experts, the pros, Mr. Tim McKernan, Mr. Anthony Stalter. Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas, Riz.
Riz.
I hope it was very merry. I missed you guys last week.
We missed you big time. This podcast was not the same without you, Riz. There's no doubt about it. I know Tim feels the same way.
Yeah, there was an absence, and it's wonderful to see you once again.
Well, I
the boys are back together.
Yep, we're all broadcasting from different corners of the world. Tim, where are you today?
I am in my basement
Nice.
at home.
Anthony?
I'm in my home office that has turned into the kids' pile of Christmas toys. Got 3 beautiful kids, and all their toys wound up they're all around me right now. So
In your office?
in my office, yeah.
In your office. I am at my home away from home, the Maryville University Hockey Center in lovely downtown Chesterfield, Missouri. Getting ready for a 16U AA Missouri hockey matchup. You got the Chesterfield Falcons versus the Afton Americans beginning here in about 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, I got the Falcons minus a goal and a half, paying plus 175 on that.
You know, I'm surprised they haven't blocked FanDuel from the from the Wi-Fi here because people would be betting on your hockey. But they were kind enough to let me use their conference room. So here we are today, guys. I do have to tell you that on my travel day home, I was in New York over the holidays, and on my travel day home on Sunday, we were at the airport a couple hours early. So I got a strong cell phone signal. I'm in the Chase Sapphire lounge with many TVs. So let's open up that big, beautiful FanDuel app and let's start building some parlays while I'm waiting for my flight back to St. Louis. So what was on? It was the New York Jets versus the New England Patriots.
Ooh.
And I was sitting with fellow Jet fans at LaGuardia Airport. What a terrible game that was. So I decided to build a parlay. So here's what I had, fellas. And again, all these parlays are on FanDuel. Stephon Diggs, anytime touchdown.
Oh, glorious. Check it off.
Hunter Henry, anytime touchdown.
Check it off, right?
Stephon Diggs, 70-plus yards.
He went over 100.
Nailed it. Drake May, 275-plus yards.
Nailed it. I see where this is going.
Well, we hit 3 of the 4, but guess who got taken out in the third quarter?
Drake May.
With 249 yards.
Oh, no.
You could have had anything there with Drake May. You could have had 2.5 TDs, 3.5 TDs, 4.5 TDs. You would have got there.
Listen, fellas, obviously I was like, oh man, they're doing too good. This team is doing too good. They're going to take him out. I'm trying to explain to my son, who's trying to wrap his head around, why would you take out somebody who's doing so good? Well, it's week 17. Playoffs are coming up. The Patriots are comfortably locked in. So why would you risk your star quarterback getting hurt? And sure enough, 249 yards.
Oh, brutal.
And Mike Vrabel pulls him.
Oh,
that's typically how it goes, though, Tim. I'm sure if we ask listeners, their best fell short by one leg parlay. People can line them up, and of course, you don't do a single play on all those, right? Just to kind of hedge a little bit.
No.
You swing for the fences,
Absolutely.
and it goes right off the top of the wall and back in.
Oh, it's brutal. I hate hearing it for you because if you needed to hit 500 yards, he could have gotten there if they would have kept him in.
Easily.
They picked his number. But the issue, of course, the Jets had very little interest in putting up points of their own. And so Vrabel did the fundamentally sound thing, but financially unfortunate.
And the smart thing, obviously. But as soon as I saw him put the big coat on.
The big coat.
On the sideline. As soon as I saw him put the big coat on, I let out a yell from the soul. They started grounding flights. Listen, if I would have hit that parlay, we would have taken a private jet home. I told you.
Out of Peterborough.
An earthquake. Either way, they're going to ground flights either by your scream of angst or scream of celebration, Riz.
Well, listen, we're here for one reason on the Spread Zone, to help you win money. You got the college football playoff quarterfinals coming up. You got NFL Week 18. So let's get to it. And before we even start, just say this, and you guys would agree with me. Week 18, probably the weirdest board of the year. People resting, the seating, the chaos. And we're using numbers from, we're recording this on a Tuesday afternoon. Things are going to move, of course, before some of these games start. So keep that in mind. But am I right about Week 18 in the NFL?
Yeah, well, there's three games that matter. Am I correct? Buccaneers, Panthers, Seahawks, 49ers, and Ravens, Steelers. Is there anything else that matters?
I do think because the Falcons won last night, sorry, Riz, and we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
I do think because the Falcons won last night, the Buccaneers need the Saints to win, and they need to beat the Panthers. I think the Saints need to beat the Falcons, and the Buccaneers need to beat the Panthers. There might be something goofy there. But either way, Tim, you're right on the games that absolutely matter. The Ravens Steelers won. That one's clear. Whoever wins the division. The other one's knocked out. The 49ers Seahawks, not only is the NFC West up for grabs, but the number one seed in the NFC is up for grabs. So that one is vitally important. That's a Saturday. And the other team, I think the loser would go to the fifth seed, which won't be bad because then you'll either face Carolina or Tampa Bay. But I do think, and I can look while we're chatting, I do think that Saints Falcons game still matters because the Falcons beat the Rams last night.
Now you also have some teams that have declared already they're playing all their starters, and so it's going to be interesting to see what we all pick. We're going to do 4 picks and we're going to do our locks. So let's start with the recap from last week. And Tim, you got the numbers from last week.
Riz, we almost had history on this podcast. You went into Monday Night Football 4-0. And had your lock of the Rams minus 8.5 against the Falcons. And unfortunately, similar to that same game parlay with the Jets and Patriots, it fell just short.
And I'm sure you guys in your discussion last week were like, man, what a great lock of the week, huh?
Of course, yeah.
It struck me as stunningly obvious. But it was Monday.
The Rams
Night
are rolling.
And before it kicked off, I noticed the spread dropped down to Rams minus 7.5. And all that told me was the money was moving on the Falcons. And with Monday Night Football, beware. And sure enough, it was 21-0 before we even knew it. Credit to the Rams for battling back.
What did the money know? What did the money know that we didn't?
I wonder about that. I don't know.
Well,
Devontae Adams didn't play.
Yeah, Tim, the only thing that, when we were signing off last week, the only thing that I mentioned was Raheem Morris was the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, you did mention
Sean
that.
McVay.
Yeah.
When they won the Super Bowl. So you had a coaching staff in Atlanta that was going to be very familiar with what the Rams wanted to do. Still, though, I mean, Stafford didn't play well. I mean, that's what it came down to. I mean, he had the
3 interceptions, right?
Yeah, he had the pick six. He threw the pick six because he sailed the ball over his receiver head on the one. And Atlanta just played well. And they were a goofy team all year. They beat Buffalo as a home dog on Monday night. They won in Minnesota on Sunday Night Football when Minnesota was still considered a playoff threat. And of course, last night. I mean, they won games they shouldn't have and lost games they shouldn't have all season.
Well, so I went 4-1, which
well done.
Yeah, very good. That brings you, Riz, to 47-67 on the season.
I was saving it all for the last couple weeks.
That's right. a win percentage of 41%. Losing the lock drops you to 8-10 on your locks. I went 2-3 last week. Got my lock of the 49ers Bears over 51.5.
Sweat-free.
It's very sweat-free.
Wow.
I leaned into the magic that was Sunday Night Football and 2 monster markets playing against each other in a showcase for the Bears, and we delivered on that one. Won the Browns, getting 3.5 against the Steelers. Lost by 2.5 points on the Bengals. Cardinals over. They got to 51, but my total was 53.5. Clemson and Penn State. Anthony, we were both on Clemson.
That was nasty.
That was rough. Clemson has since fired their offensive coordinator. And I loved New Mexico getting 2.5 against Minnesota. They lost in overtime. So I went 2-3. That brings me and 1-0 on my locks. 10-7 on my locks for a 59% against the spread on locks.
Nice.
59-62 overall, 48.8% overall. And these decimal points now matter because, Anthony, it was an unfortunate 1-4 week for you. You got the lock to go to 8-9 on your locks on the season, but went 1-4, winning on the Texans against the Chargers, but losing on the Clemson game I cited earlier. BYU did not cover by a half a point.
So the
Georgia
BYU
Tech.
was I laying 4.5 with BYU?
You were laying 4.5, yes.
So what stinks is that BYU at kickoff was -3.5, and they won by 4. So I got a bad number on that Tuesday, but that's the biz.
Hey, that's what we're recording on a Tuesday, so this is what happens.
Yep, exactly.
Lions -6 against the Vikings.
Oof.
And Dolphins, Buccaneers over 46.5. Those did not hit. So you are 62-63, 49.6% against the spread as we head into this college football playoff quarterfinal week and week 18 of the NFL.
And by the way, guys, my crack team did confirm, and by my crack team, I do mean my cell phone. The Buccaneers do need to win against the Panthers, and they need the Falcons to lose to the Saints. So the Panthers could still win the division, even if they lose. If they lose to the Bucs, They could still win with a Falcons win over the Saints. That's how messed up that NFC South is this season.
Wow.
Listen, all our picks from last week, that's in the rear view, fellas.
Thankful.
Let's get to the board. All right, so we got 2 breaks today. First one right now, we'll come back, we'll go pick for pick around the room or wherever you are. It's the Spread Zone presented by FanDuel. And the Spread Zone presented by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Shop the board, watch the movement, and always bet responsibly. All right, back to it. We're going around the room, round 1. We're going to make 4 picks. Tim leads us off, then we'll go with Anthony. Your first pick for the week.
I want to get this one in ASAP because as we are recording on Tuesday, this game kicks off in about 4.5 hours. I love the over on Tennessee and Illinois at 61.5. I think this will fall into the same category of the Bears and 49ers on Sunday night. Defense will be optional. Tennessee will put up big numbers and Illinois will put up big numbers. Tennessee, Illinois, an orange battle over 61.5. That is my first play this week.
Anthony?
I also love this play, and I thought, Tim, maybe you were going with it, and you still are, but as of right now, as we're recording, and I got a bad line on that BYU game, I think I'm getting the right number here. I'm laying the 6.5 points with Texas as they play Michigan on Wednesday. It's a 3:00 Eastern kickoff. It's the Citrus Bowl, and as we know, while Michigan's got a little momentum because they did hire Kyle Whittingham, I think the transfer portal is going to be a mess with Michigan. Texas has got some stability, and I think Texas flexes. I think this is going to be nasty. Give me Texas -6.5. I don't think Michigan scores much in that one.
All right, my first pick of the week is for the college football playoffs. Tomorrow, the Cotton Bowl, Miami +9.5 versus number 2 Ohio State. Now, Ohio State is a better team. The Buckeyes' offensive line has struggled against the best defensive fronts they've faced. The biggest situational note here is this game is inside. So Miami isn't dealing with wind like from the first round versus Texas A&M. I think Miami scored only 10 points. Indoors tends to help the offense function cleaner, especially for an underdog trying to sustain drives and stay within a number. So I'm not calling for Miami to win. I'm just calling for Miami to hang around. So give me Miami +9.5 for my first pick.
Riz, we are in lockstep on that. I am on the Hurricanes +9.5. I think you have a really rare situation in general. I realize this is only the second year of the 12-team playoff, but this certainly was not the case going into the quarterfinals last year because you had Boise State in there, you had Arizona State in there. In this particular case, there is not a team left of the 8 that would surprise me to win the whole thing. And Miami in the month of September was considered to be the best team in the country with wins over Notre Dame, wins over Florida, and they were firing on all cylinders. And then they ran into some bumps in the road. They really looked good against Texas A&M defensively. I'm still not sure how great Ohio State is. And 9.5 strikes me as a really big number for a
team what, though, Tim?
Could win straight up.
Tim, I think if the number drops under 9, I wouldn't take this.
Yeah, well, I could see Miami winning straight up. So I don't see it that way because if you gave me Miami plus 6.5, I'd still be on it. I think I think Miami could wind up winning this whole thing. And what a story that would be because the committee was clearly going to keep them out until the ACC fell apart and they needed to get an ACC team in there, even though they didn't publicly say that. I think Miami's a hell of a football team. I don't think Texas A&M was as great as perhaps they were perceived, but I think Miami is a great team, and getting 9.5 is something that I am a big fan of.
Okay. Anthony.
I don't know how many times this has happened on our show. I know.
No.
I will not go with you guys because I think we're 1-2. I like Ohio State.
Okay. All right.
I like Ohio State in this game.
I was really worried because we never won when we're all on the same team.
So Ohio State giving 9.5.
Yeah, I'm going to give the 9.5. And honestly, if I was on Miami, I probably would have just switched to the under or just backed off entirely to sacrifice myself. Because when we have all teamed up on the same game, or the same play, we have not done well.
Carnage.
Give me Ohio State. I'm laying the 9.5. Here's where I get here on that. One, I think it's going to be a rock fight. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. I don't think Miami will score much at all in this game. Ohio State comes in licking the wounds off the Big Ten championship game. Now, Miami defensive line is outstanding. Riz mentioned that. But the one big component here, and this is the biggest reason I'm taking Ohio State, is Carson Beck. I don't trust him. I do not trust Carson Beck at all. He's had his moments in games, but when he has faced good opponents, he has shriveled. And I don't think Miami's going to be able to run the ball like they did against A&M. They probably should have scored more than they did in that matchup. I think Carson Beck becomes a turnover machine in that game, and Ohio State winds up winning by 10 plus. I know it's a big number, but again, I don't think Miami scores. I think Ohio State holds them to 10 or fewer, and I do think that Carson Beck, a turnover or 2, winds up allowing me to cash this number at 9.5. Either way, spread zone's going to win on this one because you guys are on Miami. We probably should have been doing this all year. You guys are on Miami. I'm on Ohio State. This is how smart we are. We figured this out in week 18.
All right, so for my second pick, I like the Browns and Bengals over 44.5 points. The Browns and Bengals over 44.5 points. So why I like this play? Joe Burrow is expected to play. Cincinnati has scored 82 points over the last 2 games. This is also a Week 18 spot where, first of all, defense could get messy. Teams rotate. Tackling gets almost optional Week 18. And if Cleveland contributes just a little bit, we're in business. So give me the Browns and Bengals over 44.5. If it runs away to 45 plus, I may pass on this. Again, we're making our picks on Tuesday, but I like the 44.5 on FanDuel on Tuesday afternoon. That's my second pick.
All right. I am going to make one NFL play this week, and it's going to be on a game that has impact. The rest of them, I would be scared to death to play. It's not a real fun week NFL-wise because of the fact that only 4 games have any real relevance. But in this one, it strikes me as scary obvious. As we've talked about, we are recording on Tuesday. This game is on Saturday, so it's not as far off as the others. But 49ers, they allowed Phillip Rivers to score points on them. Caleb Williams nearly won it on the final play. The 49ers defense is a mess. Their offense is phenomenal. And I expect that 49ers-Seahawks game on Saturday night to be something that the country gathers around and watches, and it goes well over 49.5. That is the number. I will take the over on the 49ers and Seahawks at 49.5.
Anthony?
Tim, I'm gonna stay with that same game. You know, when you start talking about it being obvious, and I do like your overplay, I'm actually on the side here. Outside of Drake May, is there a hotter quarterback right now in the NFL than Brock Purdy?
God, he is unbelievable.
He's been phenomenal.
Fire.
So the last couple of weeks, I think he's got, and Riz, you can check the math on this. I think he's got 1,000 touchdowns in the last
1,000. That's correct.
But in all seriousness, that offense is, I mean, Kyle Shanahan has that offense rolling. And Purdy, who doesn't do a lot of celebrations, he's not an overly emotional guy. He's dancing. He's feeling it right now. Christian McCaffrey looks spry. George Kittle didn't play against the Bears. Hopefully he's going to be okay for this matchup. Again, recording on Tuesday, don't know. But give me the 49ers plus the 1.5. I think there's real issues with Seattle. Even if they wind up winning this game and I'm wrong and they're the top seed, I don't like the offense right now for Seattle. Sam Darnold does not play. He played really good in the second half against the Rams. But as we saw last night with the Monday Night Football game, the Rams defensively might have some issues going into the playoffs. So I don't love the Seattle offense. I do think that the over does get there for you, Tim. But give me the 49ers plus the 1.5. If it winds up being a goofy game where you got, going for 2 at the end, one of these teams, I think the 1.5 might be valuable. So I won't take the 49ers on the money line, but I do like the Niners plus 1.5 in this game.
All right, for my third pick, I'm taking the Texans minus 10.5 against the Colts in Houston. The logic here basically is don't mess with Houston. Even with weird Week 18 incentives, Houston still has a reason to play, and the matchup sets up. So Texas defense has been on a strong run. Houston has allowed more than 21 points only once during the stretch. CJ Stroud and the offense are better at home. So with Houston averaging around 6.2 points more at NRG than anywhere else. And Indy's QB situation is described as what? Uncertain at this point?
I would say so.
But the bigger point is, regardless of who's back there, it's a rough assignment versus that defense. So that's why I'm taking Houston minus 10.5.
I do think Riley Leonard will start in that game. But either way, uncertain is still a good word, even if you know who the starter is, Riz. So yeah, I'm with you. Houston defensively has been outstanding.
Yeah, so that's why give me the Texans minus 10.5.
My final play is in the college football playoff. This is a team that I would imagine of the 8 that are left, the country is the most unfamiliar with, but they have shown championship DNA from the outset. Texas Tech getting 2.5 against Oregon. I could see Texas Tech winning this thing comfortably, and then at the same time, honestly, perhaps Texas Tech was smoke and mirrors. And once they have to go outside of the comfort of the Big 12, they get exposed. But I am going to lean on the former and not the latter. Texas Tech's defense is something to behold. And I would imagine on New Year's Day at around 11 o'clock Central Time, many people around the country will be familiar with something that we've been talking about on this podcast since September. Texas Tech's one of the best teams in the country. I think when people think of Texas Tech in college football, they usually think of offense, maybe the Michael Crabtree year of 2008. And Texas.
But do you think an offense this year?
No, not at all. It's all about defense. But the one game that they did lose, they didn't have their starting quarterback, Baron Morton. They are built on defense. They are something to behold. I think if you had a resume with another team name instead of Texas Tech, they'd be getting a hell of a lot more appreciation and they would be a favorite. But in this particular case, it's Texas Tech, so I think they're viewed skeptically, perhaps in the same vein that Indiana was up until they won against Oregon and Eugene. So along those lines, I will be taking Texas Tech and the 2.5 points against Oregon in the Orange Bowl.
All right. Anthony.
I like that, Tim. I couldn't figure out the Oregon-Texas Tech game. I would lean Texas Tech. I'm with you. And I couldn't figure out the Ole Miss-Georgia game.
Yeah.
but I do love the Bama-Indiana matchup. Give me Indiana laying the 7 against Bama. I think this is a situation that a lot of people are going to look at it in the way that Alabama played a couple of weeks ago and say, hey, give me the points. It's Alabama. But Indiana, defensively, in their 2 biggest games, showed up and showed out, man. Oregon, in Eugene, they played well. And, of course, in the Big Ten championship game, absolutely they shut down Ohio State's offense. I think Indiana rolls in this one. I'll lay the 7. I think they are legit. I think everybody's questioning the pedigree, which I certainly understand. All of that went away for me in the Big Ten championship game. So I'm going to lay the 7 with Indiana, and I got another play on this game, but I'm going to hold off. A little tease for you.
Nice.
All right, so we all go back to our regular jobs Monday, don't we?
Yes.
So our last hurrah for our Christmas break is Sunday Night Football, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football, it's the Ravens, it's the Steelers in Pittsburgh. The AFC North title is on the line. Loser eliminated, right?
That's correct.
So let's make it interesting. I'm going to be laying in bed with the Sunday night scaries, and I'm going to be watching football, and give me the Ravens laying 3.5 at the Steelers. And
I like it, Riz.
That's the spread at the time we're recording it. I'm not sure if it's going to move by the time the game hits. So again, losers eliminated. So you're not guessing motivation. Also, the market moved towards Baltimore early, even with Lamar Jackson's status described as what I read somewhere clouded. The number still leaned Ravens, something you have to respect in a winner-go-home divisional spot. So give me the Ravens -3.5 Sunday Night Football at Pittsburgh.
Riz, I was going to be all over that game, same side as you, until I saw the 3.5. If it was 3, if it was 2.5.
3 is best. 3 is best. 3.5 still playable. If it balloons beyond that, I think we reevaluate, maybe do a money line, or maybe we pass. I don't know. But right now at the 3.5, I'm still comfortable. So that's where I'm sticking. That's where I'm locking in.
I'll give you a hot take, too, on that game. I think the Ravens are better off if Lamar doesn't play. I think that offense becomes too much about feeding Lamar and less about Derrick Henry. And as we saw Saturday night when the Packers and the Ravens played, when because they went with Snoop Huntley, they featured Derrick Henry. And I think if they just simply do that and Lamar doesn't play and they rest him up, I think the Ravens roll in that game, Riz. So I'll be rooting for you in spirit.
All right. Well, there we go. There are our 4 picks. We still have to do our FanDuel locks of the week, so we'll take our final break. We'll come back, and it's the FanDuel locks of the week on the Spread Zone. All right, the Spread Zone sponsored by FanDuel. All right, time for our FanDuel locks of the week, our most confident picks, and we'll start with you, Tim McKernan. Your FanDuel lock of the week.
I love this game. I'm so scared by how much I love it that it intimidates me because I'm thinking about unloading. Vanderbilt, -5.5 against Iowa. You have a chip on the shoulder situation there with what really might be one of the best teams in the country taking on Iowa, a good Big Ten team, but not in the class of even some that didn't get in the playoffs, much less Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon. So Vanderbilt is going to be on a mission. Clark Lee is going to be on a mission as the head coach. Diego Pavia's swan song in Nashville in this bowl game. This is going to be something that I think will be. I'd love to bet some props on Pavia. 5.5 points will be sweat-free. They will run it up to send a message. Pavia will do everything he can to show that he should have won the Heisman Trophy. It's a free-for-all. Vanderbilt -5.5 against Iowa.
All right. Anthony.
Well, I teased it. I said I got one more play for you on this Indiana-Bama game, and I love this matchup. Give me the over 48.5 in the Bama-Indiana game. I think that over can cash in multiple different ways. I love Indiana. I think Indiana could blow them out. And if that's the case, we can get there over that number 48.5. If I'm wrong and Alabama winds up playing well with Indiana. I think it could be a game in which it's back and forth, maybe shootout. So that gets over. Alabama can't run the football at all. So they're going to have to put the ball in the air. A lot of either big plays, incompletions, interceptions. I mean, Alabama's going to put the ball in the air a lot. So it's not a situation where I think the ball is the air is going to be taken out of the game. I think that, again, there's multiple ways to get there. I love this play. I love Indiana, but the over 48.5 in that Bama-Indiana game would be my biggest play. I won't say of the year because it's a January 1st game, and I don't want to give up my game of the year so early. But the game of the college football playoff, I'll say.
All right, so I'm going to go with a game that we talked about earlier, and this is a Tim McKernan pick. The Orange Bowl, New Year's Day. Texas Tech and Oregon, but I'm going a different play. I'm going to bet for my FanDuel lock of the week, Texas Tech team total under 24.5. Here's my logic. However the game ends, Oregon covers, Texas Tech upset, rock fight, whatever. I don't see many outcomes where Texas Tech scores 25 or 26 points. And this is why I love team totals in a playoff game like this. I'm not sweating who wins. I'm betting that Oregon's defense plus the playoff environment plus Texas Tech's drive finishing issues keep them below the threshold. So if Oregon controls it and Tech is chasing, this bet can still win because chasing often leads to empty possessions. So that's why I'm going to take Texas Tech team total under 24.5 points for my FanDuel lock of the week.
Interesting. I like it.
Yeah, it's the first time I'm doing a team total for a lock. So.
And an under too. So I like it. I appreciate the thought process.
All I know is when Riz goes obscure, Riz converts. That's what I know from 18 weeks of this podcast.
Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Well, good luck, fellas. If you're listening, subscribe, rate, review. If you're watching, like and subscribe. Most important, protect the bankroll. We're trying to help you out here, guys, and hopefully we'll get you some wins this coming. Well, I was going to say this weekend. I mean, I got a game in 4 hours. Yeah, a couple hours from now. So good luck, everybody, and we'll see how we did next week. Fellas, I'm going to go watch some youth hockey.
God bless. Thanks, boys.
This is the Spread Zone presented by FanDuel.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.